So today, my teammate David and me, we're going to talk about the Minimalist by Mies Rohe. Like we know, the minimalist in the last years has grown in the areas of design, like in the fashion, in the product designs, and between others. We're going to explain some characteristics that we feel that is important to say. And one of his masterpiece of this architect that will make a relation between his phrases, one of his famous phrases, and his architecture.
Okay, but first, we have to talking about the minimalist of Van der Rohe. For us, his words check out the basic of the minimalist architecture. The minimalist architecture. We define his architecture in four simple characteristics. The first, clean lists, refers to a broad perspective, big windows, and less objects. Less objects. The second is prioritize the user movement. This refers this refers to spacious areas with less obstacles to walk. The third is simple as serene. Refers to the use of simple objects, simple materials, and colors. Add less important details refers to the meaning of the design objects in the construction. From this characteristic, sail the phrase less is more.
Less is more. To talk about this famous phrase of the architect, we have to make a relation with some of his masterpieces architecture, called the Pavilion of Barcelona, built in Germany in 1989. The intentions of the architect in this building was to prioritize the circulation and the view of the user. And the way that his success was building a structure with less walls, less obstacles, and we can make the reference. We can see in this picture reference of some characteristics that we mentioned before in the second layer, like the serenity of the materials, the simplicity in the form of the building. We can see how the roof, that sensation, that feeling that the roof, it seems like it's floating, and that's making interesting. We can see how the build is open to the views. That was the purpose of the architect. And so we can see some details. We can see the reference that we are going to talk about in the next layer.
Well, the phrase God is in the details isn't a characteristic in this work. Like we can look in the first picture, the texture of blocks and the way that were positioned have the intentions of create a visual for the user. This makes from the wall an interesting view. In the second one, we can look at a sculpture in a corner. We can look the architecture of Mies led to the light enter led to the light enter director into the sculpture, making a relation with the position of it.
For conclusion, I don't want to be interesting, I want to be good. What the architect Ludwig refers to is the way that the architects are designing in these times, prioritizing the aspect and the form of the building, but resting importance to the essential, that is the living with the user. We can make architecture with the characteristic that the architect and we mentioned before, that the architect teach us, and it still will be a beauty, but prioritizing to the aspect that are essentials for the user. So we conclude with this phrase, because that I don't want to be interesting, I don't want to be eccentric, I want to be good, I want that my client will be happy with the product, with the design that I offers to them. Well, this presentation have the purpose of take this style of design, from now we rethink the way that we are doing the things, the way that we are designing of buildings, and yeah, it's all that that we want to explain. So today, my teammate David and me, we're going to talk about the Minimalist by Mies van der Rohe. We are going to see some.
No puedo acceder a internet en este momento. Revisa la conexión del módem o router y vuelve a intentarlo.